So I guess the question you want to know is, would I use the GoPro 12 or the GoPro 11 for kayaking? Let's find out. G'day and welcome back. I'm doing something a little bit different today and talking about the cameras that I use when I'm filming. Over the last couple of years I've used the GoPro Hero 9, 10 and 11 when I've been filming my kayaking. With the release of the 12 I thought it was a good time to upgrade, and I'll be talking today about whether the 12 is a decent upgrade over the 11. This video has taken a little bit of a while to put together. I've managed to get COVID during the time that I was looking to film it, and I've also had a number of things happening personally. So thanks for bearing with me, and I hope you enjoy today's comparison video. So I was pretty excited when the GoPro Hero 12 was announced last month, because it was going to be the first GoPro to include HDR, or high dynamic range. That's where the camera takes an overexposed and an underexposed piece of footage and stitches them together to get rid of some of the dark contrast that you get and the overexposed sky. Now, filming on the water around Sydney, I deal with this a lot. The Australian bush can be quite underexposed and the sky tends to light things up quite a bit. So having HDR is going to be a nice improvement, I believe. I thought I'd start with an unboxing and then get into some shots that are out on the water. This GoPro came from the GoPro.com website, which is where I normally buy them from. And for the rest of the video, I'm going to talk in Australian dollars, so hopefully that keeps things in perspective for you. I will talk about one little gripe I have with the GoPro.com website, and that's that they shipped from Singapore to Australia. So you get charged an extra currency conversion fee that's not actually included in the price tag. I think GoPro should be a little more honest about that. But it's still a lot cheaper than buying it from JB Hi-Fi, and we'll talk a little bit about how they fit into things as we go. So the GoPro itself costs $4.99, and then there was a $35 GoPro.com subscription on top of it, but that's still a lot cheaper than what they're being advertised for. This is the base model that's good if you've had a GoPro before, and I'll show you some of the differences that come with the other models as we get into it. So let's start by opening the box. You can see inside there's a GoPro wrapped fairly simply. Now, one of the things they did this year, which is a little bit different to previous years, is that this base model doesn't actually include a carry case. So all in all, with the GoPro, the subscription and the currency fee, you're still talking about $100 cheaper than getting it from JB Hi-Fi. So the pro tip there is don't get your camera from JB Hi-Fi. Now if we get into it, what we're going to see this year, as I said, there's no case included in the box. What we do have in this base model, some instructions, some stickers, the GoPro itself, charging cable, hat mount, battery, thumb screw and ratchet mount. Now that said, the one thing GoPro don't do well is ship batteries, so you are going to end up at JB Hi-Fi at some point to get more batteries for your camera. The GoPro has improved the battery life on this model quite a bit over the previous ones, but I still find I need 2 or 3 of them to get through the day. I personally like to recommend getting the 2-pack because it's a little bit cheaper, and if you don't have one, getting the 2-pack with the external charger so you can charge them without having to use the camera is actually a bit of a bonus as well. Now this basic pack is good if you've previously had a GoPro because it doesn't come with a memory card. Now personally I like the SanDisk Extreme Pro that I'll put on the screen, and I normally go for about 128GB card. That's enough that you can get a couple hours of footage, but it also encourages you to take the footage off so you don't end up losing it if something happens to the camera or the card. GoPro tend to ship with the SanDisk Extreme card, the gold one. Now it's not a bad option, but the extra speed that you get from the Extreme Pro does help when you're recording at high resolutions. And the last thing you want is to find that your footage gets corrupted because you've tried to push too much through the camera. So if this was your first GoPro, I'd recommend what they call the accessories bundle, which is $579. it comes with the case that I was talking about, and inside you're also going to get a head strap, a hat clip, a stand, and an additional battery. Now that's going to make life a little bit easier as you're getting started. I believe it also comes with the memory card too as a bonus add-on, but as I said, if you can do that, don't get it, buy it separately from Amazon, you'll be much happier. One of the improvements with the GoPro Hero 12 has been the increase in battery life. I did notice this as I was filming my videos, that I actually got probably about 20% extra out of the battery over normal use cases versus the 11. And that's a really nice thing when you've got the camera mounted on the front of your kayak and you're having to try and get in and out or get somebody else to help you swap batteries. In terms of the other improvements with the camera, one of the things that's been really well received is this little mount here. Now that lets you screw the GoPro onto a standard tripod mount, but you do still also have these legs that allow you to put it onto the GoPro mounts. The other big change they made was to move to an 8x7 sensor. That means that you can do both true vertical video and 16:9 widescreen. Now most of the videos I make that you'll be watching are in 16:9, but I know when I'm putting stuff on YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, having that vertical video is actually quite helpful as well. Probably time to get out in the water now and talk about the difference between the GoPro Hero 12 and the GoPro Hero 11. One of the things I'll do to try and help keep this video easy for you to see which camera I've used is put a little 12 or an 11 down the bottom here somewhere. So each set of footage, you should be able to tell which camera I've used. And as I said, with the 12, I did recolor the video slightly because the natural light tone that I was using made everything look very brown. Other than that, it's been left very much at default settings so you can get a feel for how the camera performs out of the box. You can see some examples here between the two. I do think the 12's done a better job of picking up the shadows and keeping the sky blue, which is something the 11 struggled with over the time I've had it. I've mounted both GoPros to a floating handle with a double adapter and attached the remote to drive them both. Having the GoPro 12 on a shorter sleep time, I did notice a couple occasions where it was hard to get the 12 to register on the remote when it woke up, but that's been a problem with some of the firmwares in the past. I would recommend that when you get the GoPro, the first thing you do is update the firmware to whatever's the latest. So next up, I'm going to talk about sound and give a couple of comparisons between the two cameras. This is one of my favourite bits on this part of the creek. These rocks are fantastic. This is one of my favourite bits on this part of the creek. These rocks are fantastic. Overall, I think this is a bit of an even race. It's another great new feature on the GoPro though, has been the ability to finally pair a Bluetooth audio device like AirPods to it. I haven't had a chance to try this yet, but all the footage I've seen of the sound quality has been a bit underwhelming, and I think I'll stick to recording audio from the camera for the moment. But if you're using voice control to drive your GoPro from, say, inside of a car, it's a pretty good feature. In terms of underwater performance, the camera is fully waterproof and quite happy to be dunked underwater. I normally keep one camera on a floating grip so I can stick it in the water if there's anything down there. You can see how the two cameras handle the water here. Now, before I started making videos, I used to do a lot of photos from my GoPro, and a lot of people in the Australian kayaking group probably know me from my weekly photo essays on our trips. I tried to include some photos on this trip. Again, I kept the 11 on standard settings, which are here, and for the 12, I tried to use the new Super Photo mode. One thing I noticed with this was it took a couple of seconds to process each photo, so you can't really rapid shoot the way you would on an iPhone, but the quality of the shots is a lot better, and it picked up a lot of detail in the scene that the 11 didn't. I'll post these here without any recoloring. I was really happy with the colour of the Super Photo, and I think I'll probably use that a little bit more moving forward. There's no option for horizon lock on photos though, which is a massive bugbear, particularly when it's mounted to the front of the kayak, and you have to go through and manually level the horizon. The battery life was actually a lot better on the GoPro 12. After swapping in a fresh set of batteries at lunch, I noticed it was tracking about 20% better than the 11 when it shut down using a combination of 4K video and photos. I didn't have any problems with overheating, although in my case, the only times it's ever overheated were oddly enough when I was filming in the car on the Colo video, which may have been to do with the window demister and the heater that I had running that morning. The other times have been when I've left it on the deck in direct sunlight, which I normally avoid now by keeping it under the bag I have on my deck to store batteries and sunscreen in. Now the horizon lock feature is fantastic and helps as the boat moves around, and I use it for all my videos to make sure no one gets motion sick. I can't say I could spot a difference between the Hypersmooth 5 on the GoPro Hero 11 and the Hypersmooth 6, but for the type of kayaking I do, it's not really a problem. Horizon lock is fantastic. So what do I think overall? I'm pretty committed to the GoPro brand, and between the batteries and the remotes and some of the specialist mounts that I have, considering a different brand like the DJI Action 4 or a 360 camera is not really an option for me. But it may be something that you want to consider if you're thinking about a first camera. DJI's come a long way, and the Action 4 does look to be a pretty good competitor. So the addition of the tripod mount on the GoPro is really handy and something I know I'll be using, and the extra battery life has been really appreciated. So there's some nice quality of life features. The HDR is excellent and has really helped filming in bright conditions, and I think that'll be my go-to now for the videos that I film. And it's probably not an essential upgrade if you've got a GoPro Hero 11, but if you can get onto a 12, particularly if you're using a 9 or an earlier camera, you're really going to notice that difference, and so I think it's worth doing. And I'm really enjoying that super photo mode. The quality of those photos that I've been getting from it have just been excellent. So I really hope this video has helped you make a decision on whether or not the GoPro Hero 12 is the right camera for you. Thanks for watching. I really hope this has been helpful for you in trying to decide whether you want a GoPro Hero 12. If it has given you some ideas, let me know down in the comments. And if you have a chance to like and subscribe, I know you hear that on every YouTube video, but it really helps me get recommended to other people that like hiking. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.